Good morning, everyone. Now, this isn't Zoom, so we're back and live in person, so I know we all can do better than that. So good morning, everybody. There we go. That's the sound of a Black Enterprise Entrepreneur Summit getting underway. I'm Earl Butch Jr., President and CEO of Black Enterprise, and after 2 long, challenging years, it is my great and profound pleasure to welcome all of you to BE's first in-person Entrepreneur Summit since 2019. Once again, we're all together surrounded by friends and colleagues. I think that merits another round of applause. All of us at Black Enterprise are thrilled to be back doing what we do best, providing a premium, one-of-a-kind networking and knowledge-building experience for today's African-American professionals, executives, and entrepreneurs. Before we go further, I must first acknowledge BE's returning event sponsor, our good friends at Nationwide, for their continued partnership. Nationwide has been the host sponsor of this summit for the past 12 years. Their engagement and that of our other sponsors made BE's return to in-person events possible, and we deeply appreciate you. Black Enterprise is especially pleased that Philadelphia has agreed to serve as our host city. Yes, you can give Philly a round of applause. Philly played a critical role in the evolution of Black entrepreneurship and social advancement from the days before our nation was founded. Today, it is one of the great centers of Black innovation and achievement. Black Enterprise is grateful to Philadelphia city leaders and its African-American business community for the opportunity to play a part in the continuation of that proud legacy. And one final acknowledgement is in order before we proceed with the summit. As you well know, the onset of the COVID pandemic tested everyone's ability to pivot in response to the crisis. To that end, I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize the talented and committed members of our BE staff who reinvented the BE Entrepreneur Summit as an online experience in 2020 and 2021. Indeed, yes, give them a round of applause. Indeed, I'm proud that Black Enterprise continued to address the needs of Black-owned businesses and Black professionals on multiple platforms throughout this global crisis. The past 2 years were probably the most challenging period for our company since my late parents, Earl and Barbara Graves, launched Black Enterprise more than 50 years ago. I applaud BE's community of writers, editors, and content creators for helping us rise above adversity, serve our audience, and advance BE's mission of economic empowerment. So thank you all. When it comes to acquiring new skills, expanding your business networks, and landing that life-changing deal, there's no substitute for live, in-the-moment, face-to-face exchange. And I promise all of you that Black Enterprise came to Philly to deliver that. Yes, we have exclusive and essential content. Yes, we have dynamic speakers and presenters and in-demand influencers across every business discipline. Most important, we have crafted the summit agenda mindful of just what's at stake for your future success and our collective economic advancement. The COVID-19 pandemic triggered both a public health and economic catastrophe. And even though many of our companies were battered and bruised, their captains remain unbowed. It's true, some firms had to close their doors, but so many of you became our source of inspiration because you refused to give up. You're among those that are drafting a new story about Black business. It's a story of Black innovation and resilience. Black entrepreneurs are hard at work redesigning their businesses and rethinking their products and services. They embrace innovative technology and digital-driven models to connect with consumers in ways few imagined possible just a few years ago. This new Black innovation and growth coincides with important developments within corporate America. The so-called national racial reckoning that followed the murder of George Floyd has had a measurable impact inside the C-suite. Major corporations made fresh commitments to bolster and partner with Black-owned ventures, and those commitments are beginning to bear fruit. That's why, at Black Enterprise, the #1 Black digital media brand with more than 12 million unique visitors per month, we're extremely proud to lead this evolution. We are proud to have provided essential information to guide you through the pandemic. We are proud to be the chroniclers of your ambitions and, most importantly, your achievements. We are proud to be your advocates in encouraging more companies to adopt equitable financing and procurement practices, as well as placing a bright spotlight on those major companies that have totally missed the mark. So the purpose of this summit is to build upon our critical work. Our goal is to put that information, the tools and context you need to overcome and advance in your hands. Over the next 2 days, we'll share practical strategies for gaining critical financing, rebranding your business, and understanding the metaverse to advance to the next level. You will learn how to apply business principles and anticipate the unexpected from business icons like Master P and Dia Sims. We'll break down the certification process, how to leverage more and better procurement opportunities in this rapidly changing environment. We're also going to have a really good time. We've got exciting social events on tap, and you don't want to miss this year's BE Entrepreneurs Awards ceremony this afternoon, featuring the inaugural Earl G. Graves Sr. Visionary Award. We guarantee that the 2022 Black Enterprise Entrepreneur Summit will be a complete, rewarding experience. As such, we wholeheartedly thank you for being a part of it. And now, before we kick off the summit, we will hear a word from our host sponsor, Nationwide. But first, let's take a look.
It feels so good to be cared for. Back up now, just a little more. The feeling someone's always there, just to show how much they care. The feeling you're not alone. Now she's a part of your home, with so much to protect each day. Caring goes a long, long way. Nationwide is on your side.
Here to share remarks from our valued partner is Chris Graham, the Chief Investment Officer Nationwide. Let's welcome Chris to the stage.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us. On behalf of the entire Nationwide family, welcome to the official start of the 2022 Black Enterprise Entrepreneur Summit. Promoting economic inclusion and empowerment has long been a priority for Nationwide, and we're proud to invest in the growth and business of Black business owners like yourselves. Nearly 100 years ago, Nationwide was founded by a small group of entrepreneurs with a unique and noble purpose: to be a different kind of insurance company that put its members first. This mindset is at the cornerstone of Nationwide's On Your Side brand promise, and it's why we're here today. Our foundation and connection to entrepreneurship is at the heart of our long-standing relationship with Black Enterprise, and it is our distinct pleasure to serve as host sponsor of the Entrepreneur Summit for the 12th straight year. Through our partnership, Black Enterprise has connected Nationwide to a strong channel of potential suppliers. Those relationships are what allow Nationwide to be a better company and to be well positioned to meet the ever-changing insurance and financial service needs of business owners. Nationwide is extremely proud to be recognized as a Fortune 69 and one of Fortune 100's best companies to work for. Our team would love to meet you, learn about your business, and tell you about ours. Visit the nationwide booth in the Business Opportunity Showcase to perfect your business pitch by recording your video, enter to win great prizes, and most importantly, connect with us. Members of our supplier diversity team are also here. I hope you're able to sign up for a one-on-one meeting with a team member and to share details about your business and learn how your products or services may serve Nationwide's unique needs. Make sure to join us later today at 11:45 a.m. at our session where we'll be discussing how to hustle smarter, not harder, as you position your business for success. I hope you enjoy this morning's discussion and the rest of what the summit has to offer. Before I turn it back over to our moderator, I want to remind you that this week we'll be giving away two remarkable devices to either scan the QR code and complete our brief survey. Have a great week, and remember, Nationwide is on your side. Thank you and enjoy the summit.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Executive Vice President and Chief Content Officer at Black Enterprise, Derek T. Dingle.
Thanks, Chris. And good morning, Philadelphia. Thank you for coming out to our Entrepreneur Summit. We're going to have an exciting program for you over the next 2 days. But let's give Nationwide a rousing round of applause for being the title sponsor of our event. We're very proud to have them as our sponsor. So now we're going to have a special presentation and special guests that we're going to welcome before we move forward on the program. The City of Brotherly Love has come to the BE Entrepreneur Summit in the form of a warm extension of welcome and recognition. Thus, I am pleased to introduce Council members David O., Cindy Bass, and Derek Green, and they're going to be joined in welcoming, please join me in welcoming all of our council members, please. And joining them will be our CEO, Earl Butch Graves, Jr.
Good morning and welcome to Philadelphia. We are honored and grateful to have you here. And we're so honored and grateful that Black Enterprise has chosen to return to our city, Philadelphia, to host this amazing event. I'm here with my colleagues, and on behalf of our city, we want to present this resolution to express our gratitude in your presence. This is a City Council resolution recognizing Black Enterprise for hosting its 11th annual Black Enterprise Summit, the nation's largest annual gathering of Black business owners, entrepreneurs, and wealth creators in Philadelphia. Established in 1970, Black Enterprise has played a crucial role in positively impacting the American economy by expanding the African American business ownership class, and Black Enterprise has provided essential real-time business data, advice to policymakers, professionals, corporate executives, entrepreneurs, and other decision makers. And over the last decade, Black Enterprise has gained widespread acclaim for its annual business symposium, the Black Enterprise Entrepreneurs Summit, which is now the largest of its kind in the United States. And
as someone who grew up reading Black Enterprise, it's a true honor to present this citation. Whereas the annual summit connects small business leaders with the capital, expertise, and inspiration needed to make money, build businesses, and create wealth. And whereas this year's summit will be held at the Pennsylvania Convention Center from May 18th to May 20th, and whereas components of this year's summit include the do's and don'ts of raising capital, understanding the metaverse to power your business, procurement equity, get your slice of the pie. The future is now, how to build a meaningful brand, the benefits of getting certified, managing mindfulness while making millions, behind the brand, and how to capitalize on the creative economy. And whereas a host of celebrated African-American figures have supported and appeared at the summit, including business mavens Byron Allen, Nick Cannon, Mark Cuban, Steve Harvey, Irvin Magic Johnson, Patti LaBelle, and Wendy Williams. And
good morning and welcome. Whereas the Black Enterprise Summit is a tremendous opportunity for emerging and established business professionals to network, gain new skills, and work collaboratively to gain and close racial wealth gaps, and whereas the summit continues a tradition of excellence established with the initial publication of Black Enterprise magazine in 1970 and was expanded with its first annual list of the largest African-American-owned companies in the country called the BE 100s, as well as other notable lists such as the most powerful women in business, entrepreneurial all-stars, the top 40 business leaders, under 40, and corporate directors. And whereas the City of Philadelphia is pleased to host this gathering of esteemed professionals, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Philadelphia that it hereby recognizes Black Enterprise for hosting its 11th annual Black Entrepreneur Summit, the nation's largest annual gathering of Black business owners, entrepreneurs, founders, investors, and wealth creators.
Further resolved that an engrossed copy be presented to Black Enterprise, further evidencing the sincere respect and admiration of this legislative body. I am so honored, along with my colleagues, to make this presentation to the President and CEO, Earl Butch Graves, Jr.
Let's give council members Green, Bass, and O another rousing round of applause. And we thoroughly thank the City of Philadelphia, specifically Philadelphia City Council, for presenting the resolution. And I'd like to give a special thanks to C. Adrian Rhodes and Devin Allen for making us connect with City Council and being a part of moving the city forward in terms of Black entrepreneurship. So let's give them a round of applause real quickly. Okay. So now let's officially kick off our summit with our first session. Two of today's hottest entrepreneurs who have applied entrepreneurship to the nth degree, to meet their shared mantra that business ownership represents the pathway to success and wealth with no limits. And they're here with us this morning. First, we have a multi-hyphenate powerhouse, hip-hop icon, producer, entrepreneur, and philanthropist. I am talking about none other than Percy Miller, or as he's known across the globe, Master P. This Southern rap phenomenon built No Limit Records into a force in the entertainment industry, selling more than 100 million units worldwide, proving that you can achieve moguldom beyond New York and LA. He used the independent route to form his own label to eventually achieve superstar status for himself, as well as a roster of other artists, including Mystical, Cain and Abel, and Snoop Dogg. You know those artists. Beyond his artistry, the New Orleans native leveraged his deal-making prowess and managerial skills to transform No Limit into a diversified business empire over the past 2 decades, developing profitable ventures in film, television, apparel, and food, and growing the company into one of the nation's largest Black-owned businesses. Yes, No Limit was on the BE 100s list. He is joined by another industry-spanning master strategist and marketing maven who's all that and a bag of chips. I'm talking about James Lindsay, Philadelphia's own James Lindsay, President and CEO of Rap Snacks. And he used his experience and skills honed in consumer products and ethnic hair care industries to launch Rap Snacks in 1994. After cutting a groundbreaking co-marketing deal with Universal Records, Lindsay grew the company into a $5 million enterprise, initially selling his snack products for 25 cents a crunch. So, by 2017, he relaunched the brand, featuring hip-hop artists such as Lil Baby, Migos, Boosie, Rick Ross, and you guessed it, Master P. As a result, Rap Snacks has expanded its product line to include potato chips, ramen noodles, and lemonades, and it has become the most visible hip-hop-oriented snack foods in the nation, sold at such major retailers as Walmart, Sam's Club, Kroger, Best Buys, and Target stores, among others. Now the multi-talented entrepreneur is exploring other ventures, which we will go into in the Fireside chat. So, to discuss their entrepreneurial journeys and partnerships, as well as offer lessons on how you can carve out your path to success and wealth, let's welcome to the stage for this morning's Fireside chat, James Lindsay and Master P, joined by our moderator, our CEO, Earl Butch Graves, Jr.
Let's give him a better round of applause than that, guys. Come on now. Gentlemen, the mics work?
I'm good.
Okay, good.
I'm good.
I wanted to thank both Master P and James for coming here. What many of you don't know is Master P took a red eye last night to get here through this morning. So I appreciate you taking the time to do that, to join us here. What's important about this conversation is I really want people to understand just what you all have done as entrepreneurs, because sometimes folks get caught up in the style over the substance.
Yeah.
Right. And it's important, but I'm going to give you guys both a chance to talk a little bit about from where you started and how you got there. And I'm going to start with you, James.
Okay.
All right? Because I think it's important for people to understand. People in Philadelphia know.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, James is a Philadelphia native.
Yeah.
And proud to be from Philadelphia. Went to Cheney State University.
Yes.
Well, would love to have you share. Yes, you can give Cheney State a round of applause as well.
Right.
What got you started with the entrepreneurial bug?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And a little bit about how it evolved before
Absolutely.
it got into where you currently are. Because you didn't start, people think you started on third base. You didn't start on third base. You started in the dugout, as we all did.
Absolutely.
But tell us a little bit about the journey from when you left here and decided to go to Cheney State University, and what moved you into becoming an entrepreneur.
Yes. When I first started, even thinking about becoming a business owner, I think what's important and what was important with my journey, Butch, was that I had, I would say people that I looked up to. When I first got out of Cheney University, my first job was at a company called Johnson Products, which you guys know is one of the oldest black companies out there in Chicago. And I was fortunate enough to see another black man being very successful through my eyes, because I think we learn from us and seeing the vision of other people. And I was able to sit close to Mr. Johnson and notice that first of all, we don't produce enough products, number one. Our communities are over-extracted. We're buying everybody else's product but our own. So I see another black man have a product that was successful, and that taught me, the vision of, hey, I can do that. I can be that guy. I can be Mr. Johnson, right? So that gave me the bug, and the bug is still burning today, Butch.
Great. Master P, your journey is really an extraordinary journey. And people focus so much on you being an artist, but I'm most impressed, to be honest with you, as an entrepreneur, right? But I want to take you back to the beginning, because it wasn't all, you didn't start in LA with all the trappings and things that have taken place. You're from New Orleans.
Yes, sir.
You went to University of Houston. This is something people probably don't know, but you went to University of Houston on a basketball scholarship. So I'm not sure he can play the ball quite that he did at that time, but well, I mean, your sons are both elevated the game beyond where you were taking the game. But let's leave that alone for the time being.
Hey, P, he's a ball player, man.
Right, I'm a ball player. I just want to say.
All
right.
Oh.
But you went to University of Houston.
Yes.
And then you left Houston and went to Oakland.
Yes.
Right. And what I thought was interesting is that you went there to study master's, study business.
Yes.
You got an inheritance from I think it was a grandfather who passed, of only $10,000.
Yes.
And you said, I'm going to open, with this, you had a vision of wanting to be an entrepreneur and opened up a record store. So tell us about the thought process that you had, even at that time, which is you were 19 years old when you opened up that.
Well, I mean, for me, I want people to know that my journey wasn't just No Limit blew up and it became this major successful company. I grew up in poverty. It was tough for me. I failed so many times at business, trying to figure it out, trying to get there. But as a 19-year-old kid, it was tough for me opening up a business in a place that I didn't know nothing about. I was blessed. I feel like God had his hands on me, and I always put him first, because when you're going somewhere different, nobody know you. It's hard to run a business. And
Exactly.
I think keep going, not giving up, keep educating myself. I think that was the thing that opened the doors for me. Everybody want money, but I was seeking wisdom, knowledge, information. And I pray for wisdom, I don't pray for money. It was a journey. I had my son with me. And I realized in life that the harder I work, don't worry about what's happening right now. If I keep working hard, I'll keep getting better. Almost like an athlete, like you're saying, being a basketball player. Absolutely. And I learned that from the struggle, the pain, trying to figure it out, how to get better. And I went from getting that $10,000 from my grandmother and saying, I want to start a business. And I had all kind of business at first that I thought that I was going to do, like everybody else probably have. Like, I want to do this, I want to do that. Maybe I'm going to buy me a car, maybe and I just said, like, you know what? If I plant these seeds now, then I could buy that car, that apartment later. Because I lived in the back of my store. People don't understand that. You got to make those sacrifices. So I used to leave the store like I'm going to my apartment, and I go back around the back and go and sleep in the back of the store. So let your struggles and pains take you to where you want to go at it in life. I feel like God blessed me and my family. I took that $10,000 and turned it into an empire. And it was all from studying marketing, understanding the importance of distribution, and having a great team. So it never was all about me, having good people on my side and constantly growing and having my family and working with them. So, and the rest was history after that.
There's a fascinating story.
Yes.
About you. So when you decided that there was no sound of the South.
Yes, sir.
There was no rap sound of the
Yeah.
South. There was a West Coast sound, there was an East Coast sound, and you saw that there was no sound in the South. And you started, and many of your businesses are called No Limit for a reason.
Yes.
Right? Because you don't see a limit, which is what all African Americans should do. Don't let someone set a limit for you as to what you are, but everything you've done is you put no limit on it. Well, you had a meeting, once you started becoming an artist and realizing about this sound, you had a meeting, I guess it was in LA, I'm not sure where it actually was, but with Jimmy Iovine.
Yes.
And he loved, I guess, the thought process of what you were going to do with the sound and all the above, and he offered you, you and your brother at the time was with you, C was with you, what seemed like an enormous amount of money.
Yes.
But tell that story, because I think that that's really poignant in being able to show what you saw as your worth,
Absolutely.
rather than what someone else was defining for your worth.
Well, I think you also have to know your worth no matter what you do. Knowing your worth is going to take you to where you need to go at in life. When Jimmy Iovine offered me that $1 million, I'm this young kid in the 90s. That was supposed to change my life. But education was a big part that my grandfather invested into me as a person. Me looking at that contract, reading that contract, and don't be afraid to, just because somebody's gonna write you a check, still read what the contract said. The contract said that I was selling all my rights off, I couldn't use my name no more, and that was just for $1 million. And I was already selling records on the streets independently. And so I started thinking to myself, if I take this $1 million, what am I really worth? Am I worth 20, 30, 40, 50? I don't know. I didn't have number $500 in my pocket at the time. But when I named myself Master P, I said I was going to master what I do. And when I named my company No Limit, I said there's going to be no limit to my success. And so turning down that $1 million was probably the best thing I ever did. It pushed me to go back to the ghetto, work harder, sell more CDs and cassettes out the trunk of my car. And that's how I was able to build my empire. And I built it on hard work to what, 25 years later, we're still successful. And we're still able to sell out arenas, and we're still able to sell product.
And you own your own, and you own
yes.
your name.
And all through ownership.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great story. James, when you made the transition, when you decided to make the transition into starting Rap Snacks, what people don't recognize, perhaps don't realize, is that Rap Snacks is now, this is your 25th anniversary. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Right? This is the 25th anniversary of Rap
26, yes.
2022 is.
Yeah, yes.
But you were, you started off, you were selling them in little
Small
bags, what have you. But talk about that journey. What made you decide to go into, because I think it's another fascinating thing, because you were gone to work with Universal, and the idea came to you about doing this. But talk a little bit about how you got started in Rap Snacks and how you saw that being able to something that you could own,
right,
and provide opportunities to other black entrepreneurs who were artists who were not able to necessarily take advantage of who they were.
Yeah, Butch, first and foremost, I know everybody in here, you're here because you have a passion for business. And when you have a passion for business, like P said, you have all these different ideas of, let me do this, let me do that. And this one night, I was working for Warner Lambert, Johnson Products at the time too. And I said to myself, I said, hey, I'm sitting here with Mr. Johnson. I'm very successful in helping him grow his business. And one night I just said, hey, I need to start my own business. I'm ready, right? And I got the idea of, Rap Snacks because I saw the vision of Rap Snacks and the culture, basically growing together. It took us 25 years, but it took the culture 50 years to really, dictate what's going on right now. And I got up that morning and I called a company called Gibbles and Nibbles. And a guy, Bob Fulner, who, and when your journey, you have all kind of people in your journey. He was the first guy who really realized that Rap Snacks could be something. And he was a 65-year-old white guy that didn't even know anything about hip hop. So when you talk about destiny and you're talking about people that are really helping you, he said, Jim, he said, come see me tomorrow. I went to see him the next day. He said, James, you're going to need to pay for your film. You're going to need to pay for your seasoning. You're going to need to pay for your boxes, pay for everything. I can't give you that credit right now. You got to prove to me that this business is formidable. So I went back and I developed a business plan, went to my friends and family and raised $40,000 at that time. And some of those guys are here in the audience today. I want you to give them a hand. And I put out 2 flavors, barbecue with my honey and back at the ranch. And basically, I used my contact from Johnson Product, who I used to sell to. He was a distributor in Philadelphia. We made 800 cases, and we sold the 800 cases out in 2 hours. So I'm saying all this to say this. When you have an idea, the first thing you have to do is act on that idea. Once you act on that idea and you have some type of success, me and Pete talk about it all the time, it grows confidence, right? And you're seeking confidence, you're having confidence, but you're seeking more information. And as the black community that we have here today is that a lot of it is misinformation, number one, and lack of information that are, creating our obstacles in being successful in business. So once we overcome that, and once I've learned that, hey, I can do this and I can do it better than these other big companies, then here we are today.
I want to ask this question to both of you. I say to our folks all the time that I learn much more from my failures than I did from my success.
Yes.
Absolutely.
What was a defining moment for you, a defining failure moment for you, right, that you learned the most from?
Well, I mean, when I was in the music business, so I started in the retail business, and then I got into the music business. And so a lot of these guys was big stores, guys coming into my store. So imagine I'm this 19-year-old kid, then Tupac come in my store. It's one of the biggest stores in the world. But when they see me, they're like, you own this store? And I'm like, yeah. And they were like, they couldn't believe it. But my thing was, I couldn't believe how big they were in the hip-hop business. And then when I got into the hip-hop business, start doing music, so you got to imagine now I'm opening up for these guys. So everything had changed. I'm at this level, but now on the music side, I'm there when the light's on. I don't think people coming to see me, they coming to see Tupac.
Right.
And so for me, I had to really go through this failure, because when I first came out, by me being from New Orleans, and they think we country, that's what they, because nobody from the West Coast or the East Coast, at that time, they was the biggest stars. So imagine me, a country kid, coming in there, the way I talk. So I got introduced as Mr. P, the country singer. So, and I'm trying to tell a guy that's introducing me, I'm saying, no, I'm not a country singer, I'm a hip-hop artist. And I had one fan, and I told my brother this. One guy was jumping up to my music, going, bow it. And I walked out there so happy.
Right.
My brother said, what's wrong with you? I said, I got a fan.
Right.
and I thought at that time, even though I was feeling, when I got that one fan, I was like, I'm gonna turn that one fan into millions. And through my failures, that's what I was able to do.
Same question to you, Jay.
Yeah, Butch, I think my failure, when I look at failure as opportunity, number one. So my failure was opportunity that it took me this long to get rap snacks in the mainstream, right? And my failure was to be able to seek out the information, as we talked about, to learn how to do that, right? And when we talk about the brand today, selling it in Walmart, selling our brand in Sam's Club, and being one of the better sellers in these locations, my brain didn't fathom that. that it could really, and I knew it could be successful, but having wrap snacks become a item that everybody snacks on, right? Because we're going to start with our community first, but to be successful, you got to be able to branch it out to the general market. So my favorite was, hey, I knew it was going to be big, but to be at this point, like Pete says, there's no limit to your opportunities. Never think that your brand is only going to reach a certain individual, because look at the brand now, look at what we're doing.
Yeah, and I think also what James saying too, y'all give him a round of applause, because this, us coming together doing this as brothers, getting out there,
Absolutely.
taking on an audience that don't want us there anyway. Imagine, they don't want us to be in stores, and people don't realize what we buying. When we buy Kellogg's and Gucci and all these companies, Wells Fargo, we buying family names. We're not thinking about this, so we have to educate our people to this. So education is so important, because when we fail, we got to get back up. It's all about getting back up. We're going to fail so many times, but the difference with other cultures, they don't make fun or they don't laugh at each other when they fail. They help each other up or try to figure out how to get back up. And so we have to change that.
Yes.
Because think about it. It's an African-American man that created potato chips.
Absolutely.
He was making French fries, and they wanted to cut it thinner in New York, a chef. And he ended up deep frying it, cutting the potatoes and making it smaller. And so we don't know that because we don't know that information.
Right.
So even through our failures, like James said, we're constantly learning, we're constantly getting better. We're not looking down on each other. We're saying they lose millions of dollars to create billions.
Right.
We got to be on that page. We have to go through these different obstacles to get to where we're going at. And we have to be able to, we are $1 trillion spending culture. How many of us are in these Fortune 500 companies? I ain't talking about ownership. We only make up a tenth of 1% when we're talking about CEOs of these Fortune 500 companies. We have to change that narrative by starting, growing, feeling, getting better, showing them that we got better product, creating better product, and not only owning that product, but controlling it. So controlling those products and controlling those businesses, we'll be able to feed more families, give back, help more people. And that's what our business and brand is about. The more we make, the more we give.
Yeah, and also, Pete, when we talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
When we don't produce anything, we have to start producing our products, our brands. When you do that, that money comes back into our communities.
Yes.
And it's not continually be over-extracted and going out and nothing's coming back in. And also, when you have an idea that's different outside the box, it might take you a little while, right? I mean, it took me a long time because people didn't believe that I can sell potato chips with wrappers on it, okay? Yeah. So, but I believed, right? And I made everybody else believe. So just know that it takes a little longer for you guys. Don't get frustrated. Just keep hanging in there and do what it takes to be successful in your business.
I'm going to stay on the subject of doing business with one another,
yes,
because I think it's important to, because we're going to talk a little bit about your partnership.
Yeah.
But here's a fact. In the Jewish community, the dollar turns over 6 times before it ever leaves. And I want you to think about that, because in an Indian community, it turns over 5 times before it leaves. Meaning that even if they don't like one another,
yeah,
they're never confused as to where they need to spend their money for survival of their respective communities. In the African American community, it turns over less than 1. Meaning as soon as it lands in our pocket, we can't wait to go and spend it with somebody else. And so I always give folks this test to say, I said, okay, it's called the Do You Have a Black? And then I add in 10 different things.
yes,
Accountant, lawyer, investment broker, dry cleaner, car dealer, florist, caterer, name the 10.
Right.
Most people, sitting, whether sitting in this audience or otherwise, don't get more than 4 out of 10. Some have 0.
Yeah.
And so you have to practice what you preach. In other words, you can't just talk about it. You have to be about it. I'm not trying to steal a
Come on, man.
rap song about it. But
I thought you was a basketball
right,
player.
I got a little bit of that too. But the reality is that that's not what's happening in our community, right? Black Enterprise chronicles this on a regular basis. So there has to be an investment. You can't ask someone to invest in you if you're not prepared to invest in yourself.
Absolutely.
You're not prepared to spend money with other African American entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
So I don't care what I get to some degree. If I get a car,
Yes.
I find a black car dealer. I had a car driven from Pittsburgh to New York so I could use a black car dealer. My clothes are made by a black man.
Right.
I'm not doing something. If I can do it, I want to do it with black folks.
Right.
That's not at the exclusion.
Yeah.
It is because I believe in ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
We want to have that happen with one another. P, you very early on
Yes.
understood, because a lot of people look at things and they say, oh, they see an artist or an athlete and they sing the bling that they wear and have.
Right.
And then they're broke 2 years later.
Yes.
You didn't do that. You said, you know what, I want to own,
Yes.
or as you call it, master. I want to master all of this. Talk about a little bit, both of you, about your desire to want to do business with other black folks, people that look like you, and then from each other's perspective, how did your own partnership come together?
Right.
I'm going to let James go first because we're going to get way real today. Go ahead, James. We're about to get real.
Well, first and foremost, you learn to understand that it's very important to, do business with other black companies. Because as you become more successful, you are a role model to these other companies, right? But not only, this being a role model, how do we help each other? Because when we have more information, we're able to give that information to other people. And I always say, me and Pete talk about this all the time, providing information to other companies and other people that look like us, because we're just the vessels that are creating the other opportunities for people that's coming behind us to do bigger and better things in our industries. And how I met P, it's kind of funny because I went to Universal Music Group and I told Universal Music Group, I said, you guys are spending all this money on these stickers. You might as well give me that money and you can put your artists in our bags. And P at the time was at Universal. And once we did that, I think she talked to all the artists and asked them was it okay for those guys to have the image on the Rap Snacks bag. And P actually called me and said, man, you know what? I really like what you're doing. And at the time, he didn't really know that meant a lot to me because it's another brother, and at his stature at the time to call me and say, hey, I really like what you're doing. So not only did I appreciated that, but it gave me enough confidence and I was like, James, you're onto something. If Master P is calling you and telling you that he likes that, you're onto something. So not only just doing something for each other, it's all about encouragement. It's all about saying, hey, brother, you can do this. So, hey, it's been a wonderful situation between me and P.
Yes, sir. Y'all give him a round of applause. So we here today, but we got to get real if we're going to change the future. We can't change the past, but we can change the future. We have to stop the self-hate. So we spend trillions of dollars. The reason why we don't spend it with each other because we don't want to see the next man shine that look like us. But I keep telling people it's enough for all of us out there. Me and James, our motto is we don't only want our products on shelves, we want to get thousands of people that look like us with their products on shelves. We're just opening the doors. We can't be afraid to make mistakes. We can't be afraid to talk about our mistakes and our failures like we're doing today. So I had an incident where my publicist called me and said they wanted me on the Kevin Garnett show. And when they got to Kevin Garnett said, I like Pete, but he said something about me a couple years ago. And I said, what did I say about you? You know, he was talking about my financial situation. And I told his publicist, I said, I love Kevin Garnett. He another brother like us, but what he been through, he could help save the future athletes that's coming through. His financial advisor took $70 million from him. If somebody took $70 million from us, I mean, we just say it's cool. Like, you just lose $70 million. Right. I said to myself that I love this brother, but the only way we're gonna help change us financially, economically, we gotta start looking at some of these mistakes. And I'm like, let's educate what you've done. I'm not putting you down, brother. I want to show the world that even through the mistakes I made, I told myself, when I first got in the music industry, you know, I like to shine. Y'all know I like to shine, but it's like, I'm still going to shine because I put my trust and faith in God, and I know we can't take none of this with us. Right. But I brought gold ceilings. People was looking at people, you brought gold ceilings. I'm like, I come out the project, I just wanted to have something, chandeliers and gold ceilings to say, this is mine. And it was dumb. Think about it.
So you're the only one that had to pee.
Yeah, it was dumb, but guess what? I had to look at my mistakes and say, right, how do I get past that?
Absolutely.
Now, if I'm gonna buy something, I'm gonna create a business and let that business pay for my car, my house, and all these other things. Yeah. Yep. But that's through education. And that's from failure, making mistakes, getting better, teaching the next generation, teaching our culture, teaching people that look like us about economics, about banking, about credit, because we don't realize we don't need the money. Credit is our report card when we go to the bank.
Yes.
But people that look like us are afraid to say, oh, I got money. The bank don't care about how much money you have. How much money you have in that bank? What are relationships you are building? Not being afraid to get better. So for me, I had Johnny Cochran's when he was alive as an attorney. And Johnny Cochran's told me, he said, never let somebody judge you by somebody else. My brother's a crackhead, but I'm not a crackhead. Right. This is what Johnny told me. I couldn't believe it. But his brother turned it around. You know, I have family members and friends that think the same thing, that I'm supposed to change their world. Nobody changed my right to get out there and work for it. No man owed no man nothing but love. And so if I could do it, James could do it, we know y'all could do it. But we're going to have to talk about the mistakes, the failures, to educate the next generation. Because like you said, other cultures are preparing and educating. We think now just because we got the internet, oh, we're going to make $1 billion. If you don't get up and put in work, everybody has 24 hours. I tell people all the time, you either going to walk with the pigeons or fly with the eagles. I'm trying to fly with the eagles, and most of the eagles fly alone. So if we're going to be leaders, we're going to be bosses, we got to be workers first, good workers to be bosses. We got to be great students to be great teachers. And so this is only the beginning, that we're growing, people seeing what we at. But I realize one thing, we have to stay humble. If you want people to buy your product, you have to invest in yourself, and it's all about distribution and marketing. And our culture don't understand it, because we create something, but we'll just have a garage full of product. So you got to get out there and go touch the people, make sure you got a good product, like James say. So James humble, but you know, he was flipping chips back in the days, mixing them up, putting them in a bag, doing all these different things, and it turned into a major business, but he learned from somebody else. So don't be afraid to learn from other people, celebrate other people. That's the only way we're going to grow. That's the only way we're going to get better. So I feel like we're stronger together. If you look out there, it's a lot of people that look like us that's striving for something bigger. And that's all we did. And when I put my trust and faith in God, I feel like I'm on another level now, because I did it on my own, but now I'm doing it with God. I feel like I'm unstoppable.
Yeah, and you know, Pete said something very interesting. He talked about distribution and marketing. But when you look at developing a brand and a product, you have to market it and you have to sell it.
Yes.
And unfortunately, for Afro-Americans in this country, our distribution avenues are very limited when it comes to selling our own brands and products. We have to go to the bigger box stores, the other companies, and ask them to buy our products. I started my brand in the mom and pop stores, city by city, developing those relationships and those distributors. Today, we have 50 to 60 distributors around the country, up and down the street, not this in Walmart and Sam's. So if Walmart and Sam's stopped today, we still have a business. So you have to found your foundation and understand that you can have the best product in the world, but without distribution,
yes,
nobody's going to see it. All right?
The greater, both of you said two things that were
Yes.
important. One was, my father used to say this to me all the time, he said, Butch, the harder you work, the luckier you become.
yes,
There's no substitute for hard work,
yes.
right? And he would get up, the day started at 6 a.m. With reveille, right? In literally, because he's a military guy. So
Yes.
We were 6 years old and we knew military time before we knew how to tell regular time.
Right.
But he was focused on, you're going to work harder, outwork the competition.
Right.
I think people are prepared to work. But here's, again, two facts. One is 95% of black-owned businesses are sole proprietorships. That means you employ no one more than just yourself. You can't grow that way if you're just a sole proprietorship. The biggest obstacle for black businesses today is not access to capital. It's scale.
Absolutely. Yes.
Because if you don't have scale, you can't do business with Walmart, right?
Absolutely.
Walmart, who's one of our folks here is a sponsor, they want to do business with black-owned businesses.
Absolutely.
And I remember, this is a funny story, but it ties into a little bit what you guys are doing with the snacks and the other business food. Guy came to me and very committed, and he said, we want to do more business with black-owned businesses. Can you help us, Butch? I said, yes. He said, I've got 3 small contracts that I'm going to take outside of the procurement process, and I'm going to give them directly to black-owned business. I said, that's great. He said, then he started apologizing. Now, they're very small. I said, okay, well, how small? He said, well, first one's $135 million. The second one is $70 million, and he said, and the last one, he's apologized, he says, it's only $30 million.
Right.
So I said to him, so I took it, made it seem like I understood what he was saying. I said, I understand your pain. I'm happy to take any of the 3 contracts you've got.
Right.
And I said, well, you have to understand that even the smallest contract you just talked about would make that company become part of the BE 100s at the time.
Absolutely.
If they had that $30 million contract just by themselves, they would be one of the BE 100, one of the top 100 black-owned businesses in the country.
Right.
So this problem was the scale issue. Now, many of you may say, I have the best barbecue sauce in the world.
Yeah.
Okay? My grandmother made it. It's nothing like you've ever tasted before.
Absolutely, yes.
And I said to the guy, that's great, but Walmart sells 135 different barbecue sauces.
Yes.
And they said, well, mine's better than all of them. I said, let's assume it is better. Then the guy said, if I bought it tomorrow, and I said, I want this, I'm going to need 200,000 cases next month.
Right.
No ability to be able to produce that.
Right.
Or as you said, the stuff sitting in your garage because you make the best of what it is. Talk about how, and this is where we say the sole proprietorship issue comes in.
Yep.
There's strength in numbers. You all have come together. Black businesses have got to merge and come together, right?
Absolutely.
If JP Morgan and Chase can come together,
Right.
right?
Right.
If American Airlines and America West can come together,
Absolutely.
Pookie and Ray Ray got to be able to get together.
Well, but the thing is, you got to look at it, right? If you go down Rodale Drive, you see all these stores probably selling the same thing. They're not shooting each other up. They're not arguing. They're not mad. They're okay with selling their products, like you're saying, growing all on the same block. we have to get out of that mindset that I don't want you on my block. You don't own the block anyway. Think about it. We are dying, killing each other for nothing when we don't even own these blocks. And we can't even sell our product because the next one thing. So a guy told me one time, he said, Pete, it's enough crumbs for all of us in this business.
Right.
Why are we fighting and doing all this when we know that, like James said, they have the control of every store? We're trying to get in there, and then if we get an opportunity, we can't even produce the product because the numbers are too big. Most of the people that we meet, whatever product they're selling, they're making it out of their house. So when we tell them, like, okay, if we come with you and we could do this, and we could find the people that could make this, oh no, I don't want to do that because, you know, I need to be making this. I'm like, you need to be making it. If you're going to show you how to make millions of dollars, why do you need to be making it? So we have to get out of that mindset that we just want to, this minds, I can't do nothing, because we have to find great partners and people that can help us when we get this stuff into these stores, you know, making sure this stuff is on the trucks just like it's on their trucks. It's a lot that go with it. It's no one-man army.
Absolutely.
If you operate like a one-man army, how are you going to turn that to a multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar business? So if you just want to be a thousandaire, that's fine. You could be a thousandaire in the hood creating your product. But if you want to get out of that, you got to think bigger, and you got to think, like you say, the numbers. We have to grow. You have to get with factories. You have to be able to produce this product at a certain time, or you're going to lose those deals and opportunities.
Yeah.
James, one of the things, again, mentality-wise, that we see with black entrepreneurs is they say, I got to own 100% of everything. And we used to be we were in this private equity business, and we would see all these companies that would come to us to want us to invest in them, right? And they would start off their pitch with, I own 100% of the company.
Right.
And I said, well, you know, 100% of $1,000 is still $1,000.
$1,000 all day long.
But 20% of $10 million is $2 million.
Right.
Yeah.
But they seem more interested in having a business card that said chairman, CEO, owner, president, bottle washer, would have all the titles on it.
Right.
But you can't deposit that at the bank.
Right, absolutely.
So my question to you is, you have done this, you've formed partnerships with different people,
Absolutely.
P and others,
Yes.
where you don't have to own 100% everything.
No,
you
not
want to
at all.
make it, so talk about what went into your mentality of saying, I gotta form some partnerships with other people who can help to elevate my size, man, and then I can make you could, you know, find the richest people in the world.
Right.
They own a small percentage
Right, absolutely.
of the company that they own.
Absolutely.
Right? Elon Musk doesn't own all of
Not at all.
Tesla.
Yeah.
He owns a small percentage. Now the company's worth a lot of money, so he's worth a lot of money. Talk a little bit about how what went into your mind, and Pete, you can add on to that, but what in your mind in regards to forming partnerships with others, but not having to own 100% anything.
Yeah, but just as I talked about earlier, when I first started my business, I raised $40,000 from friends and family. So I gave those individuals stocks, you know, ownership in my business initially. So, and also it's about a lack of information for other business owners, black business owners, having to own 100% of your business. Because, you know, as I started out, the first 7-8 years, I was doing it by myself, right? And as you said, this basically thugging it out and every day going out and see how we can run this business. And I started thinking about and researching other successful black entrepreneurs like Reginald Lewis. Are you guys familiar with Reginald Lewis?
Yep.
All right. So I started to read about his journey. And not only that, you know, it struck me that this man went from, an attorney and being one of the biggest black business owners in the world by getting other people involved in his business. Right now, Rap Snack started with one manufacturer. We have 13 manufacturers around the country as we speak today. So when Butch talks about scaling, without scaling our business and having more resources, we wouldn't be able to sell it in Walmart. We wouldn't be able to sell our product anywhere else, you know? So, but it became, you know, I thought in my mind that I have to get this information. I have to scale. We have a great team at Rap Snacks. You know, I have my assistant, Taylor McCain, who keeps me, you know, whole every day. I have a whole marketing department. We have distributors around the country. We have a shipping department. We have every necessity we need to be a successful consumer product company. And without that, you won't be able to scale your business. So it's more of the lack of information. And if you put your time and resources in understanding the business before you get into your business, it'll save you a lot of heartache.
Well, I'm going to just let y'all know, I'm here to be the next Kellogg's. So I'm going to show you. I want to be the next Kellogg's.
Yes.
Dang, we got the Rap Snacks. Nobody got more product than us.
Right.
Let y'all know. Rap Snacks, the new Snoop Dogg.
Right.
Hold up. I'm going to show y'all. I ain't just making one thing. Somebody said, P, just need one thing. Nope, I ain't making one thing. If Kellogg's could have 1,000 things,
Right.
we got energy drink. Let me show y'all. This is my new book, Never Go Broke. So we ain't going broke because we're going to have product.
Right.
I got the soldier snack. Hold up, I'm going to show y'all. We got product. I got coffee. Hold up. I got the Master P Rap Snacks. Hold up. I might have something.
More over there, man?
Hold up. I got some more coffee, camouflage coffee. Got I got Trill Mix. Y'all want something healthy? They keep telling us about healthy, Jay.
Right.
We got some healthy snacks. We got the fish fry.
Right.
If you're gonna be an entrepreneur, be a boss, you gotta think outside the box, and we definitely have to have more people. Yeah. It's not gonna be just about us. We're gonna create more CEOs, more opportunities for investors and bosses to be a part of what we're doing. But guess what? We can't think small. Kellogg's not thinking, I just need one thing. Think about it. We want to change that, and if we're gonna grow and have more people and give more people opportunities, then we have to have a bigger business. Like James said, getting these factories, getting people to buy into our movement. It's enough opportunity for us, especially as African Americans now. We done marched in the streets, we done did all this stuff, but we saying have a plan of action. We go into these grocery stores. My motto is they could have the streets, we taking over the grocery store.
Yeah.
Because we got product, and product don't talk back, y'all.
Absolutely.
When I was in the music industry, I got to worry about if I gave somebody $1 million, they spent it, now they mad at me when they spend their money. When I put this product out there, just go sell. I ain't got to worry about it getting mad at me or telling me what happened to my money. I don't know what happened to your money. I know what happened to mine because I'm investing mine. Right. And we can't take this with us, and I can help more families and more people. So we're going to help more families. The more we make, the more we give. And one thing I want to tell y'all, right? When we, I got something else I forgot. Hold up. I got something else in
Got the noodle.
I got the noodles.
Right.
Got the noodle.
Well, hold on. We got to talk about these noodles because let me tell y'all about these noodles. First time we put these noodles out, know what they said? They good, but look what they said. Well, P, you got sodium in your noodles. I said, well, what ramen has in there? We've been buying it for 100 years. We're making a difference and giving back, so y'all got to trust the process. Let us grow. Let us get better. Let us get on these shelves. And we got healthy alternatives coming. Right. But we got to get into the stores first. There's no people look like us with product in the stores. So we have to start from somewhere. We're not going to just get into Whole Foods. You got to have so much, like James said. So finding these factories that make these products, you got to start with that first. We found factories that help us make snacks. We growing in that division, and then we going into the healthy alternatives. So just trust the process is all a matter of time.
Yeah, let me
1 second.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to ask people who may have questions to begin to start to line up in the center, and we'll be able to take a few questions.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the prime example for the noodle business is when I started researching the noodle business, and I found out it was only 2 companies that made noodles in our country, and that's 2 Japanese-owned companies that made noodles in our country. And me and Pete talked about, we're like, hey, you know, this is the prime example of us supporting, you know, another brand and products that we don't even know what the origination of the brand it was from. So once we put out our noodles and we put out our flavors that we like, you know, the product just automatically took off because we're feeling the need, you know, of something that we want all the time, but we can't go to stores and buy it, right? But one of the things we didn't mention today is about how thankful I am to our community for supporting our brands. I want you guys to give yourself a hand for that. And one of the things that me and P are very adamant about is giving back to our community. So with our Boss Up Foundation, we have so many different programs that we're putting in place so we can show you guys how we do what we do every day. And specifically, we have a program called the Stock Boss Up app. I want you guys, everybody go download that. It's called Stock Boss Up. And Stock Boss Up teaches us how to invest in the markets, right? I know Butch can tell you this, that, you know, you don't learn by investing in markets, it's something that's very complicated. This app teaches you from A to Z if you never invested in the market before. And the reason why I'm saying that, because if you had $1,000 10 years ago and you're investing in Tesla, what would that $1,000 be today? So it's giving you information that we don't have. And they're getting a head start on investing where we're 30, 40 years old and never invested in the market, don't have any retirement. We have to change that by providing information to you guys. And our our Boss Up program is doing that today.
Yeah, thank you, James. The thing that you guys are focusing on, and which is really important, our tagline for Black Enterprise is Wealth for Life. Yeah. There's a big difference between income and wealth.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And as the comedian once said, I forget which, I think it was Chris Rock who said, Shaq is rich, but the man who pays Shaq is wealthy.
Absolutely.
And so what we have to be able to do is understand what wealth is. Wealth is assets minus liabilities. It is being able to be exposed to. Yes. My father didn't know anything about the stock market. Yes. Right? Didn't grow up with it. Grew up in Brooklyn, didn't know anything about it. Right. But he knew that's where people made money. So he said, I don't know about it, but I'm going to have someone teach you, Butch. Yes.
Absolutely.
So that you don't have to go through the same thing that I did. Absolutely. So I've done that with my own kids, and so that we have been able to build something and have something and understand, because the greatest asset that one can have is owning your own home. Yeah. 71% of white people own their own home, 47% of black people own their own home. Starts with home ownership, absolutely, and then it goes into other things.
Absolutely.
So, but I want to be respectful of this. I'm going to ask the people who are asking questions. We're not looking for a statement. Make it a question so that the people can answer it. So please, I'm opening it up to the thing, state your name and then tell us what your question is, please.
Yeah.
Hello, how you doing? My name is Noah Felder, owner of Dodge Street Bakery, and my question is, I make banana pudding, and I got 15 flavors, and we're in Cherry Hill Mall, so my question is, how do I get to distributing where I can hit the other mall areas like in Atlanta and just like the Auntie Anne's and Cinnabons that's all over the different areas. I wanted to scale like that, and just how do I get to the distribution so I can make more product? Because our problem is we selling out stuff, but I'm the only one making it like y'all said, so I'm trying to figure out on how it can make itself where I can take a step back and it just run itself.
Great question.
All right. Yeah, I can answer that. So you said you're in the mall, right?
Yeah,
and you're
Cherry
selling
Hill
product.
Mall. Yep.
Okay, so there's two things. One, there's several organizations that own several malls. So I would advise you to talk to your your person that's renting you the space in the mall, and ask them how many other malls do you have, right? Okay. And then when it comes to you running out of product, you have to be able to, you got to be able to understand what your needs are in your business, right? So you're going to have to estimate and forecast, if you sold 20, cases a day, right? And you sold 100 cases that week, you got to forecast that, hey, I'm going to need X amount of supplies to be able to support that, right? So a lot of times we're in our business every day and we're so in tune with what we're doing, we forget, the planning part. The planning part before you get there is the most important thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is it possible I can let y'all try samples of my stuff? I brought it with me just in case.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Come on, man. That's what you're here for.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Denise Williams. I am the owner of Be Resilient Healing Through the Arts, and we focus on mental health and breaking the stigma of mental health. And I really appreciate you guys, one, showing your partnership and how you helped each other and the collaboration and the support that you gave each other. As an entrepreneur, you know that it gets lonely. Sometimes we are at our desk by ourselves and it gets very lonely. So could you share with us some of the things that you did to help with your mental wellness and your self-care during this time? My banking account is not supporting that, as I'm sure yours is. However, I was wondering, what are some of the things that you can share with us as we continue to grow?
I'll answer that. So first of all, give her a round of applause, because mental illness and mental health is a big factor that's destroying our culture and our people. When you look at mental illness, a lot of guys that's doing drugs are self-medicating, and we have to stop that. We're not able to have counseling. We're not able to talk to somebody. And so people go into those dark spaces. And like you said, even in your business, that you want your business to be successful, at the time I told you, I didn't always sell 100 million records. I didn't always able to get my product into those stores. So we've been in those same places. You just can't give up. You got to partner with other people. James talked about finding other people that's in that business to support you the same way you should support them. We are stronger together. But everybody want to do this my thing, this my business. It's all about me. We have to humble ourselves to say, let's connect with other people to open up other doors. So don't be afraid to put good people around you that's going to push you. The reason I'm me and James together, because I want to be around people that's going to push me. I don't want people to be around me that's just going to run with me or get into that dark space with me and say, well, we're not selling nothing. We don't have no money right now. We might as well quit. No, you want somebody that's going to, the guy that made the cat in the hat, he took his books, was about to go throw them in a garbage can, but his friend said, no, I know somebody that we could get this published with. He said, man, I don't care nothing about these books. Nobody care about it. We need somebody like that. Put those type of people around you that's going to help you when you get into those dark spaces to where you want to give up. And that's what life is about. It's not just about thinking it's all about you. Humble yourself enough, have that integrity to bring other people around you that going to support whatever you're doing. So don't make it just a one-man or one-woman show. When you got something great, because you have my attention. And I realized that growing up in the ghetto, I done seen so much negative stuff, but I never had counseling. Me and Snoop talked about this the other day. So as African-American people, we definitely need more people like you. So just stay in there, hang in there, and get with good people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And as Pete said, you got to keep good people around you and good energy, because I was talking about this the other day. When you have an idea, the first person you're going to run it by is one of your friends. If your friend says, I don't like that idea,
You're done.
You're done. Your mind, like it's not an idea, right? But your vision is not for everybody to see, right? So once we understand that,
And you might have to cut some family members off.
Absolutely.
I'm just being honest with y'all, so we're going to keep it real.
Absolutely.
When I first got in the music business, I had a family member, man, you trying to make records? I'm like, now, as soon as I made it, oh, that's my cousin, Master P, bro. What you going? Like, you was the same person that said, you ain't no Tupac, you ain't no Biggie Smalls. And so get the good people around you. Don't be afraid to take the constructive criticism. For me, I let that make me work harder. So even when somebody tell me I can't do something or hate or whatever, it fuel the fire. I'm going to figure this out. So have good people around you and cut the bad ones off.
And stay close to your friends and family that want to see you be successful.
Yes.
Because that's the core. Our family, everybody here is family. But your immediate family, stay close to them.
Yes.
Because most of the times, they want to see you win. And when that happens, that's the strength, that's all the strength you need.
Thank you for the question. I would love this conversation. We could sit here for 3 hours and do this, but unfortunately, we have to move on to our next session. But I do want to give P and James a chance to say a last word, or last piece of advice that you would give to. No. No, can't do that. I've got to be respectful of your time, of their time, and respectful of the conference time. But I'd like you both to give a last word of encouragement or what have you to these entrepreneurs. Because one thing that both of you just said, which I think is really important, is negative energy has to be removed from your life.
Absolutely.
Right? And folks in my office, I would say all the time, I said, listen, I look at the glass as always 90% full. And I want to be surrounded by people who feel that the glass is 90% full, not 10% empty. What piece of advice would you give to these current entrepreneurs and would-be entrepreneurs in regards to a last piece of advice from you both?
Butch, first and foremost, my piece of advice today is love what you do. When you love what you do, nothing is impossible. And you can get up every day knowing that if I'm not making it today, I'll make it tomorrow. So love equals passion, and passion equals success. So I love what you do. Be adamant about it. Your success will happen eventually. Thank you.
Yes.
P?
Hold up, I got one more thing. I got my own cereal. I told you I wanted to be Kellogg's. So look, the first thing I tell y'all, any opportunity you get, market and promote your brand. I don't care where you at. The next thing, what is McDonald's selling? Think about it. Most people say they're selling hamburgers or Big Macs. They're selling consistency. With your business, if you want your business to be successful, always understand consistency. That's what you're selling. And never give up on what you believe in. When you love something and you're passionate about it and you sacrifice, and another great thing to remember, never do nothing for money. Educate yourself with the education, the knowledge, the wisdom, the information. With wisdom, money gonna come. Don't change who you are. Just be a better you. Put the work in. Don't be afraid to put the work in. And the most important thing is put your trust in God.
Ladies and gentlemen, James Lindsay, Master P. Let's give him a round of applause. Brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, man. Thank you, brother. You want to take this stuff with you, or you want? Okay, he'll get it. Okay. This way.